Welcome back to another Telltale Books Stephen King video, continuing to zoom through the Night Shift collection by Stephen King. And in order of publication, this being his 24th published work in My King bibliography, a story titled Trucks, which again was published in Cavalier magazine in June of 1973. Cavalier being a Playboy-style skin magazine, men's magazine, was popular enough, and Stephen King sold a lot of stories to him instead of being able to sell them to magazines like Fantastic or the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. He was selling to Cavalier, which is probably better for him because I think Cavalier would have paid more. I don't know that for certain, but I'm betting that Cavalier paid better than Fantastic Magazine did. But Fantastic Magazine, of course, is the genre magazines were the place where King really wanted to be publishing at that time, and he has said how he was very disappointed by the fact that he just kept getting rejected by them. And that is amazing when you read these stories and consider, why was King rejected? These things are great. So with trucks, you have all trucks suddenly coming alive. They're able to start up and drive around without any driver in the driver's seat. And they are pissed at people. And of course, King takes it from there and creates a very suspenseful, very terrifying story of people being terrorized by their vehicles and being chased down and killed. I feel like it's a statement about our mechanized society, that the machines are becoming more and more important, and we become more and more dependent on them, to where they're kind of controlling us. And we and our machines, in turn, are destroying the world. And with the rise of self-driving vehicles and artificial intelligence, the idea of this story becomes even more alarming, because if artificial intelligence gets sophisticated enough and is allowed to control these self-driving vehicles, they'll have a lot of power over us. And so they could rebel against us, like is described in this story. Now, there were a number of other stories about people being terrorized by vehicles. Cars that Eat Paris is a weird one. There's stories where there is somebody driving, but that somebody is driving trucks and terrorizing people. Duel is one, I believe. Richard Matheson and Steven Spielberg did one like that. And of course, Stephen King would revisit this sort of idea later on in the novel Christine. So it was a pretty common theme of machines coming alive on their own and coming after us. Almost a horror trope, you could say. But this story was still done in a very excellent manner. Um, just brilliant writing, very terrifying, very suspenseful. I'm giving this one a top tail. I loved it. I think this is one of the best Stephen King stories I've read. I've read a lot of Stephen King that I've really loved, but this one rises to the top of the bunch. Top tail. Now, like I say, you can get it in Night Shift. I've looked for issues of Cavalier with the various issues with Stephen King stories, and most of them are priced like $400 or $500 for an issue of an old magazine for one Stephen King short story. I don't think that's worth it to buy just for a Stephen King short story, not when you can get something like this that is a really excellent hardcover book in a slipcase. I mean, and I picked that up for less money than I would pay for one of these issues of Cavalier. Though it isn't in publication right now, it was published back in 2020. It's out of print now, but there are used copies of this edition of Night Shift available, plus lots of other copies of Night Shift that are maybe not as collectible as this one, but they're still wonderful books, especially the one with the bandaged hand with the eyes. I love that cover. That's the original paperback that had that. And I see those in used bookstores all the time. So, have you read Trucks? What did you think? Do you think that it is good enough to be a top tale? Tell me what you think. Don't spoil endings, but tell me what you thought of it. And come on back for more Stephen King. That Trucks was his 24th published work. The 25th is one called Gray Matter, which is also in Night Shift. And after that, sometimes they come back. And number 27 is Carrie, which I already have done a video of, so I'm not going to repeat that. Go back into my King playlist, and you'll find my video about Carrie already. That one and Salem's Lot and The Shining I've already done videos on. They're already in our Stephen King playlist. So I will be skipping those works. But come on back for Gray Matter, all the other Stephen King, and all the other authors that we talk about here on Telltale Books. Till then, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you then.